Да, всім
Да,
привіт.
всім привіт. Сьогодні у нас буде
розбор
партії
партії
Мінцові
Defense,
Defense, Petrosians
versus
vs. Veresov.
D4,
D4,
Knight
Knight
F6,
F6,
C4,
C4,
E6,
E6,
Knight
Knight
C3,
C3,
Bishop
Bishop
B4,
B4,
Queen
Queen
C2,
C2,
D5,
D5,
CD5,
CD5,
ED5,
D5,
Bishop
Bishop
G5,
G5,
H6,
H6,
Bishop
Bishop
F6,
F6,
if Bishop
Bishop
H4,
H4,
C5,
C5,
long
long
castle.
castling.
This
This
leads
leads
to
to
an
an
extremely
extremely
intense game.
game.
Queen
Queen
F6,
F6,
A3,
A3,
Bishop
Bishop
F5.
F5.
Black should
Black
have
should have
exchanged
exchanged
pieces on
pieces on
C3,
C3, but
the experienced master Veresov
Veresov
did not want to simplify the position. B4,
B4,
Bishop
Bishop
B6,
B6,
E3,
E3,
Bishop
Bishop
F5,
F5,
Bishop
Bishop
D3.
D3.
This
This
natural move demanded precise calculation. Black should play Queen G6, to which Petrosians spotted the triangular's reply. Queen
Queen
G6,
G6,
Bishop
Bishop
F5,
F5,
Queen
Queen
takes rook
takes rook
G2,
G2,
F4,
F4,
Queen
Queen
H1,
H1,
long
long
castle,
castling,
H5.
H5.
There was
There
a
was a
threat
threat
on
on
Bishop
Bishop
G4.
G4,
Queen F2,
Queen F2,
and Black
and
is
Black
bound
is
to
bound
lose
to
his
lose
queen.
his queen.
Bishop
Bishop
takes on
takes on
D3,
D3,
Queen
Queen
takes on
takes on
D3,
D3,
C6,
C6,
Knight
Knight
F3,
F3,
castle,
castling,
Queen
Queen
D7,
D7,
A4,
A4,
Rook
Rook
F2
F2
E8,
E8,
Rook
Rook
FC1,
FC1,
Queen
Queen
D6,
D6,
B5,
B5,
Bishop
Bishop
C7,
C7,
Rook
Rook
A2.
A2.
By accurate and consistent maneuvering, white increases the threats on the queen side, which black is trying in vain to mount an attack on the king's side. The young Petrosian shows the real extent of his opponent's threats. Rook
Rook
E6,
E6,
Rook
Rook
A to
A to
C2,
C2,
Queen
Queen
a3,
a3,
b
b
takes on
takes on
c6,
c6,
b
b
takes on
takes on
c6.
c6.
The correct
The
move
correct
here
move
is
here
rook,
is
rook takes
rook takes
c6 in
c6
order
in
to
order to
continue
continue in
reply
reply
to
to
queen
queen
b5,
b5,
knight
knight
b6 with,
b6 with,
for
for
example,
example,
a5,
a5,
a6,
a6,
and black
and black
position is
position is
perfectly
perfectly defensible.
Queen
Queen
a6,
a6,
knight
knight
b6,
b6,
a5,
a5,
queen
queen
b7 is also strong
strong
here.
here.
Wrote
Wrote
Petrosian
White is in
no
no
hurry to
hurry
make
to make
this move. However,
preserving
preserving it as a threat. Just note the clarity of the young chess player thinking and his self-control. Rook
Rook
e7,
e7,
rook
rook
e7,
e7,
g3,
g3,
rook
rook
b8,
b8,
knight
knight
d2.
d2.
This simple move confronts black with insoluble problems. There is a threat of knight d to b1, knight c4,
c4,
queen
queen
c6.
c6.
Lack of
Lack of
experience makes itself felt. However, Petrosian seems to have been carried away and fails to see the simple solution. Knight
Knight
c4,
c4,
d4,
d4,
queen
queen
c6,
c6,
bishop
bishop
a5,
a5,
knight d5.
knight d5.
Knight
Knight
d2,
d2,
knight
knight
d5,
d5,
bishop
bishop
f5.
f5.
White has underrated the importance of this move. The struggle continues with fresh force. Knight
Knight
e7,
e7,
queen
queen
e7,
e7,
queen
queen
d5,
d5,
bishop
bishop
d4,
b4,
rook
rook
c7,
c7,
queen
queen
f6,
f6,
rook
rook
a7,
a7,
knight
knight
f3,
f3,
king
king
h1,
h1,
knight
knight
g5,
g5,
f4,
f4,
knight
knight
e6,
e6,
rook
rook
a8.
a8.
Petrosian's technique naturally left much to be desired at
desired
the
at the
time.
time.
A more precise continuation here is of course rook b1.
b1.
Time
black's hands.
Rook takes
A8,
queen
queen
takes
takes
a8,
A8,
king
king
h7.
h7.
It was
It was
necessary
necessary to play
bishop f8
f8
or knight
or knight
f8.
f8.
Queen
Queen
e4,
e4,
g6,
g6.
king
King
g8
g8
is
is
equally effective with
with
d5,
d5,
bishop
bishop
d2,
d2,
d6,
d6,
bishop
bishop
c1,
c1,
e7.
e7.
d5,
d5,
bishop
bishop
d2,
d2,
rook
rook
d1.
d1.
White last move is typical of Petrosian tactical foresight. He might well have
fallen into a trap Zveran given in the
preceding
preceding
notes
notes
would not work with the king on h7. For example, d takes
d takes
e6,
e6,
bishop
bishop
c1,
c1,
a6,
a6,
queen
queen
a8,
a8,
queen
queen
a6,
a6.
and black
And
draws this game.
game.
Knight
Knight
f5,
f5,
knight
knight
c5,
c5,
queen
queen
d4,
d4,
black
black
overstepped
the
the time
time
limit on this move.
move.
His
His
position
position
in any case hopeless. For example, queen
queen
d4,
d4,
e4,
d4,
knight
knight
e4,
e4,
rook
rook
d2,
d2,
knight
knight
takes on
on
d2,
d2,
d6,
d6,
and the
and the
pawn
pass pawn
cannot be stopped.
stopped.
This
This was the first game.
Це була перша партія, зараз наступна партія. Goofy
versus
versus
Petrosian.
e4,
e4,
e5,
e5,
knight
knight
f3,
f3,
knight
knight
c6,
c6,
knight
knight
c3,
c3,
g6.
g6.
Great masters do not like to play according to the book, they create the book themselves.
The
Usual move here is perfectly put knight f6, d4,
d4,
e4,
d4,
knight
knight
d5,
d5,
bishop
bishop
g7,
g7,
bishop
bishop
g5,
g5,
knight
knight
e2,
e2,
e7,
e7,
Knight
knight
c2
c2
e7, knight
knight
d4
d4
c6,
c6
knight
knight
c3.
c3.
Although knight
Although knight
e7
e7
leads
leads
to
to the
the equalization of chances, white
white
naturally
naturally
once
wants
more.
more.
h6,
h6
bishop
bishop
e3,
e3
knight
knight
f6,
f6
bishop
bishop
c4,
c4
castling,
castling
queen
queen
f3.
f3.
Strange as it may seem, this natural move brings white close to disaster, but one has to be Petrosian to make the hidden obvious. White should have castled instead. d5,
d5
ed5,
ed5
c5.
c5.
Two well-aimed blows, and it becomes obvious that white's pieces instead of supporting only hinder each other. Knight
Knight
b5,
b5 if
knight
knight 2
if knight
d2
d2
e2
bishop
bishop
g4,
g4
queen
queen
g3,
g3
knight
knight
f5,
f5
knight
knight
f4,
f4 sorry. If
knight
knight
d2
d2
e2,
e2
bishop
bishop
g4,
g4
queen
queen
g3,
g3
queen
queen
f5.
f5.
This
It's
is
a
a formidable attack.
attack.
Knight
Knight
b5,
b5
a6,
a6
d6,
d6
knight
knight
f5,
f5
knight
knight
c7,
c7
knight
knight
d6,
d6
long
long
castling,
castling
Grandmaster
Grandmaster
Guthrie is trying to entangle Petrosian in complication. If knight takes knight c4 is better with knight. Knight c4 is better with the knight on a8 doomed. Long
Long
castling,
castling
queen
queen
c7,
c7
bishop
bishop
f4,
f4
bishop
bishop
g4,
g4
queen
queen
d3,
d3
b5,
d5
bishop
bishop
d5,
d5
rook
rook
8 to
8 to
d8,
d8
f3,
f3
b4,
b4
queen
queen
g6,
g6
king
king
h8,
h8
not
b
takes
takes
c3,
c3
of course,
of course in
in
view
view
of
of
bishop
h6.
h6.
Queen
Queen
G6,
G6,
King
King
H8,
H8,
Queen
Queen
D3,
D3,
B
B
takes on
takes on
C3,
C3,
F
F
takes on
takes on
G4,
G4,
Queen
Queen
B6.
B6.
Black
Black
conducts
conducts
his
his
offensive
offensive very forcefully.
forcefully.
White's
White's
position is fallen to pieces.
B3,
B3,
Queen
Queen
B4,
B4,
White
White
resigns.
resigns.
Це все.
That's all.
I wish you all the best and have a good night.